Hi everyone, thank you so much for still tuning in with us. I hope you enjoyed that yoga sequence by Tao 33, and now I'm excited to welcome our next guest. This fall are the Massachusetts elections, and we need you to vote. We need your voice because it matters. And in terms of mental health, if your community is not good, if your environment is not good, if you're not feeling like you're heard and you're appreciated and you're, engaged, then, you're not good in your mind, body, and spirit. And today we have extraordinary guests in the house, some great leaders in our community who are using their voices in services and their voices to elevate our community. I want to welcome to the Fahrenheit TV stage, Mr. Kyron Owens and James Mackey. Thank you guys so much for coming to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Awesome.
Thank
you. Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what you guys do in the community and in terms of civic engagement, in terms of the upcoming elections. And I want to start with you, James, because you are the co-founder of Stuck on Replay. Founder. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Yeah. Founder of Stuck on Replay. Can you explain to me what Stuck on Replay does and what you guys do in the community?
Good question. So we're not a nonprofit organization. We're just a movement to really engage community, do something about issues that are affecting them, rather than talking about the issues and not doing anything about it, being proactive and taking action. So we uplift the community, we elevate their voices, and then we influence policymakers to make the right decision around policy that are affecting the communities that look like you and I.
Awesome. And you work with youth, am I correct?
I do.
And do you feel that youth are often left out of the table, per se?
They're definitely left up out of the table because, one, they're not old enough to, adults feel like they're not old enough to make decisions on their behalf, or they're informed enough around what should be done on their behalf to make decisions that are beneficial to their future.
Yeah. And what are some of the things you guys have done so far, being active?
Yeah, man. I mean, we've done a lot. So over the past 2 years, Stuck on Replay has been heavily engaged within the community in Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan, really hosting community forums around specific issues that cater to the community. So one of the specific issues that we've been heavily involved in was the criminal justice reform bill that just passed this legislation. And what we did was we gathered over, I think, around 3,000 concerned community members throughout the state.
That's a big deal, too.
Yeah, definitely. Around 3,000 concerned community members throughout the state to talk about policies that continue to criminalize and take advantage of Black and brown people, and why this criminal justice system needs to be, criminal injustice system needs to be changed. It needs to be reformed. And leaders on Beacon Hill are making decisions. We're planning on making decisions without the voice of the community. And so my role was basically to bring the community along with advocacy groups together to be at the table with these legislators, to meet with these legislators, to let them know that we watching, we paying attention, and we also want you to hear that our voice need to be heard.
And I respect that. I like that you're wearing the t-shirt, the Amendment 13 t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
And I want to talk about, how did you and Kyron meet? How did you guys, get involved in working with each other?
Well, at events, like I had an event that either I had an event or there was an event, a community event that we were attending.
It was a men's workship that we attended.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And we started talking about, our work, and he was like, yo, I work for the elections department.
Yeah,
and
which is really cool, yeah.
All right, so what does that mean? What do you do? And so we just started to learn about each other and the work that we're doing. And that right there sparked an idea that one day we need to come together. He was like, yo, bro, I got some stuff for you. We need to come together.
Yeah.
And he spoke it into existence. So now we're planning the event. Who do you value? And it's the relaunch of Stuck on Replay, because we've been on pause for a little bit. I've been speaking at events and
You've been
doing
staying
presentations.
busy, still doing your thing.
But as an actual organization, galvanizing the community and hosting forums to inform communities around issues that are affecting them and how can we be proactive and take action, I have not done that. But it's important to do it right now because, again, there is
upcoming elections are coming
a whole lot
up.
of elections coming up.
Yeah, the primaries in September and then the elections in November.
September 4th.
Kyron, I want to ask you a little bit, because you're the Civic Engagement Coordinator, am I correct?
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about your role and why you think this, I'm sure every election is really important to you, but why this fall should we really engage our voices?
Good point.
So I'll start with the first question you asked. in my role, I am basically the outreach person for the department. So I manage the social media, I manage the web page, I do a lot of the press releases for the office, and I'm also the community liaison. So we oftentimes like to engage with our community organizations to help us promote elections, to help us educate individuals in the community who are eligible to either register or are actually registered already to vote and get them out to the polls. So that's a little bit about my role in the department.
All right,
And
awesome.
then as far as this election, I believe that all local elections are important.
Yes.
So whether it's a city election or a state election, those local elections directly touch the people.
Yeah,
And so it's important that we educate people on what are these offices, what are the roles of these offices, and how do they actually impact the community directly, so that way, they can be held accountable.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because oftentimes, like when I go voting, like I'll see a bunch of names. I'm like, I never heard about these people, because marketing is such a strong tool, right?
Yep.
So if I see like these names, when I'm passing on the bus or whatever, then I'm like, all right, I've seen this person. So I'm glad that you're doing that, that you're educating us about, what's going on and the people who are trying to represent us and trying to evoke change in the community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that it's important because when you look at, there's 3 different types of elections, right?
Yeah.
So you have your federal elections, your state elections, and your local elections.
Yep.
But the federal ones seem to get a lot more
It gets so
attention.
much hype. It gets so much
And
hype.
that's the one that everybody is always focused on. But
Yeah.
when, you should focus on all 3 because they all 3 play a role in our daily lives.
Yep. Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
And so you have an event coming up.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? Because it's
Yeah.
August 15th. It's
Yeah.
less than a month away,
Exactly.
and I want to be there, and I want all the followers to be there.
Well, yeah, it's dope. I mean, similar to what Kyron said, it's all about learning about the process of you being civically engaged, and truly understanding that there are folks that are trying to run for a specific office to represent your community. And the question is, do you know what that office means? Do you know how that office works? Do you know how to call your legislators, let them know that there's things that you need to get dealt with, or there's issues that you're dealing with. If you don't know how to actually go through or follow through with your legislature, or even know where their office is, it's important for you to know who that person is, if they actually value what you actually value, if they're going to represent you like they say they're going to represent you, because a lot of folks really just talk a good game.
Yeah.
And just want to say, yeah, I just want to hit, let me take a picture. And
Yeah, they
then,
just
and
wanna
then
be popular
and then once
and,
they
like,
get
known.
elected, they don't do anything that you say. And the reason being is because we don't have enough people calling them, showing up at their office, and making sure that they're doing exactly what they said that they were going to do.
Yeah.
It's all about accountability. And so we need to inform the community around, what is a district attorney?
Yeah, what do they do?
What is it?
Yeah.
They prosecute people. They want to keep the public safe.
Yeah. And we're talking about, 13th Amendment and all these things. We need to know who our district attorneys are.
Yes, that's why Amendment 13 is extremely important. You see it on the shirt. That means that we need to take out the exception clause within the 13th Amendment that says that those who are selected as criminal can still be used as slave labor across this country. We need to stop that. But that also is related to folks who were in legislation that created this policy.
You're right. And James, we're gonna go to a quick break because this is getting good. This is getting we're getting really engaged right now. And when we come back, we're gonna continue the conversation. So stay tuned.
And it's more than a hope, it's a fight we must be actively engaged in. And it's not just protest and bringing masses to the street. It's often remedial, not necessarily remedial, but tedious intellectual work. It's learning all we can about how money moves, how the state operates, how legislation is actually put into place, and who really represents us and who can be our allies, because the ruling class is in a position to sustain their wealth. And unfortunately, at this moment in time, black bodies are worth more in prison than they are free. And we need to understand that. And that it's not a coincidence that an overwhelming part of the prison population is black and brown, and that they are penalized more severely than anyone else. And what I like to end with is that if you are watching, please get informed.
Please get involved. Please listen to what he was saying, because it's really, really important. And now I want to talk about, so the primaries are this September, and then we vote again in November, right? So I want to talk about first how do you vote? Like, how do you register to vote? Is it too late? How does the absentees thing work? Can you tell us a little bit about that, Kyron?
Most definitely. So, I just want to reiterate that the state primary is on September 4th. Polling locations are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so, with registering to vote, there are 4 major ways that you can register. One is in person at our office, located at room 241 in City Hall Plaza, okay? You can also register online. You can register through the mail or at the RMV when you go to do your driver's license or mass ID.
Awesome.
Those are ways in which you can register.
And it's not too late at all to do that?
No, so for September 4th state primary, the voter registration deadline is August 15th.
Okay.
Your forms have to be in our office by 8 p.m. However, if you do it online, then you have until 11:59 p.m.
Oh, good. More time.
on
more time.
August 15th.
That's Eastern
to be
time,
registered.
everybody. Yes.
But we don't want them to wait.
Yeah.
That's why
No,
we want them to show
get
up
it
at
now.
the event.
Yeah.
Because on August 15th, we will be doing a whole lot of voter registration drive at this event.
Awesome.
And that's where Kyron and his team will be coming to support.
So we need to come and see you guys. You need to come see these extraordinary leaders. Can you talk a little bit about this event? Because I'm super excited. I mean, this is like the event to be at if you want to get engaged and get involved about what's going on in your community.
So as an organizer, you got to know how to bring people together. So one thing that we definitely have to make sure that there is food there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we got to make sure that the community shows up because there's going to be free food for folks. But there's also going to be local artists from Boston that are going to perform. And they're going to be socially progressive artists that are going to perform about issues that they care about and be able to share that with the community, right? And also at this event, one of the things that made Stuck on Replay so pivotal in this criminal justice reform because we captured so many stories and testimonies from community members that have been affected by the system, whether they were incarcerated or formerly incarcerated or have family members that were incarcerated. And they talked about how that made them feel and how it was detrimental to them.
Yeah, how it
and what
affected their
actually,
lives.
exactly, what policies or what like sentences affected them, right? And so we're going to have individuals that are going to be located in different locations to be able to share their testimonies around 4 specific issues. There's going to be senior issues that we want to make sure that we address.
Yep.
We're going to talk about public safety, and that could be from criminal justice reform to violence in Boston.
Streets, yep.
We're talking about education, and then we're talking about housing. So
Housing,
those are the
yes.
4 specific topics that we're talking about, and those are the main. Those are the issues that we deal with on a daily basis in our communities. And these folks that are running for these positions, we need for them to speak to how are they going to, what their platform is, and is it related to what we want as a community. And so this will be an opportunity where the community will come and hear from their candidates who are running for
they will be there.
Yeah,
Some
the
of the
candidates
candidates
are
will be
going
there.
to. Well,
Some of-
all
yeah,
of
all
the
of them.
candidates that are listed on the actual flyer will be there.
So
and
you can
there's
talk
a
to them
whole lot.
directly and ask these
Directly.
questions.
Yes. Ask them exactly what are you going to do about education? What are you going to do about public safety in relation to violence? You say that violence crime is down. That's a lie. The violence in Boston has went. The violence in Boston. The violence in Boston has raised. So what are you going to do to tackle that issue?
Yeah. What are you
and
going to do about gentrification? Because I know
Yeah.
we all know, we see it.
Right.
It's real.
And
Yeah.
that issue with violence in Boston, that's not even that in reference to the legislature, that's a funding issue that they can support programs that can help mediate some of the issues around violence. You have violence prevention, you got diversion programs, these programs that can support young folks. We need to make sure that these legislators can do it.
Yes.
And that's where you get to have that face-to-face conversation with the elected officials to talk about that. So what it's also going to look like is we're going to have organizations around that are specifically talking about those 4 specific issues that are related to those issues. They're going to talk about an issue related to that they're dealing with at this moment. So we're talking about housing. We may have Dorchester Not For Sale to talk about the housing issues.
That's good.
We're talking about violence in Boston with Monica Cannon. She does the violence in Boston and talking about all the violence that's happening in Boston and what the mayor as well as other elected officials can do to prevent the violence that's actually happening.
So James, we come to this
right.
event, this free event
Yes,
with
free.
free food
It's free.
and awesome artists and awesome people.
Exactly.
Kyron and James will both be there.
And a whole bunch of other people.
And a whole bunch of other people that are
Yeah.
awesome in the community.
Right.
So I go to this event and then now I'm like, so the primaries are coming up in September. So what exactly can we find? Like, what are we voting for exactly? this. Can you tell us a little bit about
So
that?
there's 39 offices on the ballot. I can't go through all of
Yeah,
them,
of
but I will
course.
say, just to highlight a few, you will have the governor, governor's office on the ballot. You have the lieutenant governor's office on the ballot, excuse me. You'll have U.S. senator. You'll have state senator, state representative, clerk of courts, governor's council, just name a few. So attorney general, state treasurer, state auditor.
So this
so
is
there's
like
a lot of
there's a lot.
district
Yeah.
attorney.
Yep.
So there's a lot of offices on there that directly affect the community as a whole. And so I would encourage folks to go online. You can definitely go to our webpage on boston.gov/elections, find out where you vote, which district you're in, to know exactly which races should you be focusing on and doing research on, so that you go into the polls prepared on September 4th, and then following that on November 6th.
Yeah, and you go in there being confident, not
Right.
being like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is
And again,
awesome.
the purpose for this event is to inform the community around what all these elected positions, what do they mean?
Yeah.
Like, what does what the power and influence does the governor have
Yep.
over your life?
Yeah.
What power and decision does the U.S. Senate have over your life, or a senator? You know, we need to know those things. The community, I feel like sometimes we don't know these things. I just found out today around, if you're a Democrat, when you go to the polls, you're only going to get.
So for the
Go
state
ahead, help me,
primary, I'm
please.
going to explain the difference
Please, break
between
it
a
down.
primary and a general election.
Thank
So
you.
in the
Okay.
state primary, it's a party-based race. So each party has a ballot, the three major parties. You have a Democratic ballot, a Republican ballot, and a Libertarian ballot. The purpose of a primary is so that individuals who are in each party can select who they want to be the front runner for that party going into the general election.
So that they will win for the November. They'll be
Ex-
on the ballot for the November.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you have
Two
two Democrats running for governor, whichever Democrat gets the most votes on September 4th
Yeah.
by people who vote on a Democratic ballot, they will go on to the state election in November 6th.
Okay.
And then the same thing for the Republicans.
Okay.
The same thing for the Libertarians. And so that's why you have to really focus in on this primary, because there are some
important.
races where you may not have a Republican candidate running.
Yep.
So it's the Democratic primary that's really probably going to decide.
Yeah, yeah.
So that
who's
means
gonna
that the
move
decision
forward.
will be made September 4th,
Exactly.
rather than November 6th.
Yeah, so that's why it's
Yeah.
so vital that not only do we go to this event, but that we, go online, like you said, boston.gov, and, we find out how we vote, where we vote, and, about these people that are running, because we want them to represent us. So unfortunately, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
I just want to say again that the event is August 15th. And what time does it start, James?
5 o'clock, it's at the Haley House. And if it rains, we're going to have it at City on the Hill, Dudley, which is literally 1 minute walk from Haley House.
Awesome.
In
I want to
Roxbury.
thank both of you guys for, all the work that you guys do in our community. It's much respected and much appreciated.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you guys for taking the time to come on the Fahrenheit TV stage. And I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this episode. I hope you feel informed and empowered. I hope you go to the event. I hope you support our team, the Tau 33 people, and do some yoga, practice some self-care always, because you deserve to be happy always. And if you want to find out more information about mental health awareness, you can visit, I have some of the information, the National Alliance, and their website, and you could contact them and find out services that you could get wherever city or hometown you're in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our next episode will be August 16th. Follow us on social media, and this episode will be on YouTube this weekend. Thank you. Have a good night.
You can tease me cause I'm dark, still cherish the way I am, still love the skin I'm in, y'all ain't changing them not a thing. Tears on my flaws, look to throw me off, still love how I'm not perfect, put the work in so I ball. Young black male, I want it all, see me and see Martin King, I'm a threat. They want me going there upset, refuse to fall and be another statistic. We ain't free, we in the systems, government got us tripping, acting like our allies, treating us like the enemies, cops shooting down innocents, this the color we living in. Slavery still in motion, y'all sleep, shit stay awoke and I preach for you to notice. Time to sit down and focus, break the chains that they throwing. Racism can't keep going, when are we gonna notice? Poverty's taking over, the struggle is way too major. While we acting like strangers, the streets are filled with danger. The beat's the only way up, hit the streets with my prayers. When they see me, they glare. I'm the one that they fear, cause I'm the one that they hear. Talking for our community, demonstrating the unity.
Fahrenheit TV.